Mental Rep.
Welcome back to the Mental Rep, a district podcast where each week we dive into the complex topics of training, nutrition, and recovery with a roundtable discussion led by top professionals in fitness and performance. To my right is Scott Gunther.
To my right is Daniel Boulay.
To my right is Neil Portolano.
And all the way to my left is Jorge Diaz.
And we are your coaches. Hey guys.
Damn, that was good.
So much better.
I didn't hate that.
To my left.
All the way to my left.
All the way to my left.
So what's up, guys? How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Excited for today.
Yeah.
Long weekend.
Any client wins this past week?
We had Neil competing in his Olympic weightlifting meet, and he actually made weights.
Okay. Would you hit?
He also did pretty well as well.
Yeah, I was just referring back to last week's conversation where I was worried.
Yeah, I was worried because I was water loading it and I wasn't making, weight. I was like floating like 3 pounds.
So walk us through what'd you do? What'd you do again?
Oh, so Dan was helping me with my water cut protocol. So Monday and Tuesday, I had 2 gallons of water and I had to increase my sodium intake to like 5 milligrams.
And at this point, what weight were you and what were you trying to get down to?
I was 183 pounds and I had to get to 178
Okay. And what kind of time frame?
within 5 days.
Okay, and what'd you do? Walk us day by day. Can you explain in explicit detail?
Explicit. Okay, so usually I'll cut my calories, right? In previous meets, like I cut my calories, but this one I actually just stayed at maintenance, which is 2,600 calories, and I just ate 2,600 calories throughout the whole, maybe half the week, until Wednesday, and then I increased my water intake to 2 gallons for 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, had 5 milligrams of sodium. And then Wednesday, I went to about 1.5 gallons of water. And then I think 3 milligrams of sodium. And then Thursday, it was...
I got the template.
Yeah, he does have the template. I believe another 1.5 gallon. And then I cut it to 0.5 gallon on Friday.
And then what did you made weight?
And I made weight, yeah. So I was 181 pounds.
And what was the purpose
Friday.
of all this? Just to
make weight for my meet.
But like, why did you drink water? Why did you eat sodium?
Because I'm water cutting, Jorge.
So
I have to make weight.
But what did that mean? Like, what'd you do?
I have to make a weight class.
Did you
We'll
pee
discuss
a lot?
that in
Did you
detail.
pee a
You act like this is the first time I'm telling you this.
Did you pee a lot?
I'm just kidding. No, actually, yes, I had to urinate a lot. I think we talked about this in the previous podcast. But yeah, so basically just tricking my body into, what was it? Diuresis. So excreting water.
Renin-angiotensin aldosterone system.
Exactly. Right in it.
RAS.
Raz. Jesse Raz. Anyways, yeah, so I made weight, got up to 178 pounds. And I actually was, a funny story, going to the meet. I was 179, so I was like a pound over. And I went to 7-Eleven and I had to get some Jolly Ranchers, had an empty water bottle, and I started spitting into the cup.
I usually use gum. Interesting.
Yeah, Jolly Ranchers, very,
Any other client wins this week?
Oh, Nate Wolf, one of our powerlifting athletes, just hit a rep PR for high bar squat.
Okay.
So we've been in a volume phase, and he hit 210. So that's I think that's 463 pounds for 8 reps for a top set. And we've been working towards getting his squat confidence up, and this is a variation. I don't even think we've touched 8 reps for low bars, so I think that's like a good sign,
Okay.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Dan, any client wins?
Come back to me.
Okay. Scott, any client wins?
I was going to refer to Dan really quick.
Okay. Jorge, any client wins? Yeah, actually, this past week. Thank you, Jorge.
Wait, Jorge, any client wins?
Yes, this past week, actually. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but one of our guys, Dylan, who's going to be competing this upcoming Saturday, he was very discouraged because he has a hip injury that has been preventing him from really pushing his deadlifts. As a matter of fact, he actually, on Monday, he had to stop deadlifting at like 225 pounds, and to put that into, comparison to what he normally does, he normally deadlifts over 400 pounds on sumo deadlifts. But yeah, this last Saturday or Sunday, we were working together on some I don't know, just his technique. Really, it was just more technical changes that we did, and he was able to work up to a 405 deadlift pain free. So our goal going into this meet isn't necessarily to hit any crazy PRs, but it's really just to make sure that he puts some numbers on the board for his very first powerlifting meet.
To get a total in, you know?
Yeah, to get that total. And then from there, we're just going to do a lot of technical changes to how he squats, how he benches. He's got a really nice bench. He's 315, and there's a lot of room for improvement there. All that with a curved back, by the way. He's got scoliosis.
Yeah, how old is he?
I believe he just turned 21.
21?
21.
Yeah. So that's really cool.
It's going to be cool. He's going to be competing with Jason also.
Oh, yeah. It's Jason.
Hey, big Jason. Both go to Rutgers.
Both go to Rutgers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, are they both doing open?
And
You know, or he's doing juniors?
juniors.
Yeah, okay, so just different classes. Jason's going to be in teens.
Really?
Yeah, he's a kid.
How old is he?
He's like 18, 19?
I think.
Well, I think he's an adult.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's a teen in USAPL standards.
Is it, wait, a teen or a junior?
No, teens.
No cap.
All cap. Did I use that right?
No, you didn't.
Oh, shit.
But all right, guys. So today I wanted to talk about gym etiquette. Okay. I have a game for you. So I am going to call out different things. All right. And I want you guys to either give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, either call this person a gym fool, right? Or a gym cool.
We'll work on
Oh,
that.
yeah. I see Dan looking for this. This is not on the notes. This is not on the notes.
We were not told about that.
No, you were not.
Cool, Jim Cool.
Is there a prize?
There is a prize.
What's the prize? Is that sweet Celsius right there?
Or how about Jim Fool or Jim Tool?
I feel like they're both bad.
Both are bad.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna go with Jim Fool or Jim Cool. Okay. And then I want you to go into detail. These are debatable debatable topics. So tell me when it's appropriate and when it's inappropriate. Okay.
So Jim Cool or Jim Fool?
Exactly. So the first one is slamming weights.
Jim Cool.
Jim. Okay.
Depends.
Depends. We got a Scott. Depends. What does it depend on?
Your environment.
Okay.
If you are in Planet Fitness, you get kicked out for that. If you are lifting a very light amount of weight and slamming for maybe no reason in an unsafe manner where that weight might jump into somebody else's way, gym fool.
Yo,
But
slam
if
bars and
you
hit
are-
PRs. What?
But
Wait your turn, Neil. That was a good one, though.
if you are lifting, say dumbbells, where your option is either dropping those weights or straining to get them to the ground, and possibly putting stress on a biceps tendon,
Drop or pop.
drop or pop. I love that.
Call me Dr. Seuss.
You like these rhymes?
I think he's canceled. And my mom's a librarian. I have the lowdown on that. We'll talk about it. She used to dress up as
Oh, Doctor. I thought. Call me canceled. All right. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
So, Dan, slamming weights. What do you say? Gym Cool, Gym Fool?
I think it depends.
Depends.
Definitely depends. Like, so I guess, Scott, what would you consider?
my answer.
Yeah, no. What would you consider light, quote unquote?
If this is Jeopardy, do you ask the person next to you for a lifeline?
What is?
Yeah.
Light is obviously in proportion to that person. If I think there's a pretty obvious, I guess, visual. If you're the coach, you can tell whether or not that person needs to be slamming weights or if they are doing it intentionally. So most of what we do here is one-on-one, guided, spotted. We do have the open gym setting where most of those guys are powerlifters. And do I expect them to eccentrically control a 400-pound deadlift to the ground? Absolutely not. So I don't know. Is there an exact number, a percent one rep max? It depends on the exercise as well. It's kind of one of those things where you know it when you see it.
Neil, what do you say?
I'm gonna say Jim Cool.
Jim Cool to slam
Yeah.
weights.
It's always.
Always. I
Always
slam
slam.
bars.
Ollie lifter.
Not the tens though.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
That's Dan. not
Okay.
the
So
10.
okay, guys. I think it just comes down to awareness, right? And just knowing your setting. Obviously, there are rules in certain gyms where you can't do that, but like Scott said, if you have someone at crunch and they're just like going off on like a 405 for a set of 8 on deadlifts, right? Or 6, whatever it is. And they're just like, bam, 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 right? It's just like you don't expect them to control the eccentric the whole time. You know what I mean? So, hey, I think people should just be like, hey, you're at a gym. You're going to hear heavy sounds. You're going to hear some like shaking in the floor if that happens, but grow up. You know what I mean? Like just put your pants on, lift, put your headphones on and just go lift, you know?
I think we can all agree though, you don't slam cable machines.
You don't.
Oh yeah.
We're all talking about free weights, barbells, maybe some dumbbells when you're, but the dumbbells you should guide gently too because they tend to fly around.
Well, that was my point. If you have a deadlift, you shouldn't be slamming a squat because then you're dead. But
Yeah.
a deadlift is not going to bounce too much if you're doing it right. If you have dumbbells, and we've all seen the people who literally they finish their bench with dumbbells and then instead of lowering their elbows and then
They just throw them.
they just like toss them forward toward their ankles and then
my
they're
God.
bouncing towards the
I
dumbbell
can
rack.
remember a situation.
In a busy gym, that's obviously not the safest thing. So I think there's also a way to drop your weights effectively and just really quick to get a visual. If you're benching, lower them down as if you're doing that press, kind of controlled, but not like you're doing a tempo rep, and let your elbows open towards the feet. What you don't want to do is once you start to let the elbows open, you don't want to slowly control that because that's where you're putting a lot of stress on the biceps. But if you do that much where you kind of control it down to that bottom chest position, open it up towards your feet, that's going to control the bounce enough to keep it
We
safe.
should do a video tutorial for all this.
We're definitely going to do its video tutorial. For
Done.
this. Shameless
Excited to
plug.
be playing a game right now.
Next one.
like it.
Wait, who got points there?
All right. So, Scott, I liked your answer the best. I'm going to give you the answer.
Answered first.
I
Give you a
rhymed
point.
really well though.
Oh,
You get half a point.
nice. And Dan copied my answer, so.
So, -1 point.
Oh, but really quick, Dan always mentions this here. There are certain plates that say you're doing Olympic lifts or even a deadlift, you shouldn't have just 10s on there and drop that from a hang. But if you're dropping a bar and it just has the thin 10s that we have here, either the 10-pound or 10-kilo plates, those, because they're a little thinner, they could bend or damage the plate. So those ones you probably don't want to drop too much.
Aye.
Oh, never drop an empty barbell.
Never drop
Also.
an empty barbell.
Except in apparently weightlifting warm-ups.
Depending on the country.
No,
on the video.
no.
All right.
That's because they can have barbells for days.
Team China.
They also change the bars like every single event. If you're in a standard gym, that bar is going to break eventually.
All right, so as the point leader, I'm going to elect we move forward with the next question.
Next question. We live in a modern
Yeah.
era, folks, where everybody has a camera. So, my question to you, are you a gym fool or are you gym cool for recording your workouts? Neil, I'll start with you.
Ah, damn it! I hit the.
Jim Cool.
Gym cool.
Yeah.
What say you?
You know, I think there are a lot of even like when I started going to the gym before, like I thought it was weird to like really like record myself on my iPhone 3G. You know what I mean? Like it was hard, and like no one would really bring stands into the gym. You'd have to prop your camera up and just try to like, or even ask someone to record your lift. Like, hey, bro, you know, you mind recording the set for me? You know, I don't need a spot. You know what I'm saying? So you just record my lift. But anyways, I think it's pretty cool that people can just start recording their lifts and just send it to their coach if they have a remote coach, online coach, and just make sure that their technique is good. And as long as no one else is in the way, you know what I mean? Or if like, if they have anyone else in the background that don't want to be in the video and they just ask politely, like, hey, you know, I'm going to record. Is that okay? You know what I mean? Or, yeah. As long as you get permission.
Scott?
That last part.
No, I'm kidding. Dan.
No, I don't want to answer anymore.
Ready?
Go ahead.
I'm rolling. All right. That last part that he said about if other people are in your videos, obviously sometimes it's going to be hard to avoid. We have kind of an open camera policy here where we do want to encourage people to assess their technique. We do want people to have the social environment around it, show people, almost create that community behind lifting where you show your lift here, you show your lift here, and everybody's kind of seeing how everyone progresses. So there is that expectation when you come into our gym that there may be cameras present, and that's kind of crossing that bridge of asking somebody, do you care if you're in the background of this? If you're in a public gym, that again gets a little tricky. Maybe show the etiquette that says, yeah, I'm filming here. Do you mind if I'm in the background? But sometimes it might be unavoidable. What I was going to say though is, most of the time it's okay, but say you are in that crowded gym and you're taking over a piece of equipment and you're just taking way too long because you're filming, and maybe you do one rep, you film, you check it, you maybe post it, you do some editing, you do your next rep. Like, that's a little excessive, where be a little more considerate with gym etiquette. And I don't know if he asked this question later, but be considerate with how long you're taking on a specific piece of equipment, and especially a main one like a squat rack that sometimes larger commercial gyms only have 2 of them.
Yeah, I got to cut you there. That is the next question. Scott,
Nice.
All right,
extra point.
Jorge,
bonus point
Jorge.
for
That's mine.
reading your mind.
So Jorge,
Dan.
Oh, wait, Jorge. Gym cool or gym full?
Wait, no. What about I'm going to say
I'm done.
I
Come back, man.
Wait, Dan, come back. I pity the fool that gets upset because somebody walks across their
my answer.
video. I hate those people. Hey, listen, if you're recording yourself lift, good for you. I think we should record ourselves doing really anything that requires technique or attention to technique.
All right.
But if you get mad because somebody walked across your camera in a public gym, hey, listen, buddy, you ain't the only one at this gym.
Exactly. Oh my.
Everybody is paying the same membership as you to use the same space. Okay.
I got so triggered watching someone's story be like, yeah, why are you walking across my video? I squat more than you. I'm like, who gives a damn? You know what I mean?
It's like, if that really bothers you that much, go
yeah.
open up your own gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
realize that
And then even then, if I do
kind
it,
of sucks. And
Dan's okay with that, right? Dan, you like it when I walk across your camera.
I love that.
Yeah.
Especially when Scott walks across it.
Oh my God. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
roll their eyes and they're like, oh, you know, like you're ruining my video. I'm just like, get over it,
Shut
man.
the
If you're rolling your eyes while you're squatting, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
It
So
happens.
point goes to Dan because he's being a good sport. I took his answer. Next.
Yes.
We give out spirit awards here.
Gym cool
right,
or
we
gym
do.
fool? Taking a long time using an equipment. And I need you to define what a long time is in your words. Dan, you're first.
Thanks. I think it's cool to use like a long piece of equipment, but then also having that just kind of
A
awareness.
long piece of equipment.
Long piece of equipment.
Wait, so is it gym cool or
a
gym
long,
full?
I think cool.
Okay, cool.
Because it depends on the
Gym cool.
program.
Say the whole thing.
I think it's gym cool.
Thank you.
There are rules, man.
But obviously just having the awareness of how much time you're taking, how busy the gym is, if it's it's super crowded, maybe taking the extra time to move along with your warm-ups, get through your sets a little faster. And then if somebody asks you if you can work in, then let them work in. Instead of saying, hey, I got 5 more sets, say, hey, I have 5 more sets. Would you like to work in with me at least?
Neil?
So that's a good answer.
What if, well, I think it's gym. I'm sorry, repeat.
Gym cool or gym fool? Taking a long time using an equipment? Defined a long time?
Gym cool. Gym full? I think it depends. Like, say you're using a combo rack, right? For anyone who doesn't know what a combo rack, it's a rack that you can squat and bench in, right? And then you can change the rack heights.
Quite the combo.
Quite the combo. Usually used in a powerlifting meet. And I think I get so annoyed when people don't want to share a combo rack. That's the whole point of the combo rack, because you can share. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is take the plates off, right? So when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to, bother him. I don't want to, and they're like squatting heavy or benching heavy. Like, I don't want to keep changing the plates. Like, no one cares, man. Just work in. You know what I'm saying?
Work in.
Yeah. So
Kumbaya.
yeah, I think it's gym full actually. Wait, does that make sense?
Gym fool if you don't want to bother them?
I think it's gym full for
be
not wanting to
selfish.
share. To be selfish.
Well, that's not the question, though.
Oh, what is the question?
Well, taking your time.
Taking your time? Oh,
Taking too much time.
taking too much time.
But I think that goes into it. The answer is to share.
To share, yeah.
It's a gym cool if
So
you
gym
share.
full to share, yeah.
If you're selfish about it, you're gym fool. You're a gym fool if you don't want to share. Scott?
I mean, I have one client who is popping in my mind right now, and he's had his home workout. He comes here twice a week to train, and then he's got 2 days a week that he works out at, I want to say, a retro type setup. So they usually have 2 squat racks there. If you go, depending on the location, if you go during like right after work, there's no way you're getting on those squat racks. And oftentimes sometimes I'll see on his home workouts, he's missing lifts or has to actually change the lift because he will go up to a guy on there and like, he told me this exact verbatim. The guy finished maybe 1 or 2 sets of a couple reps, not a ton of weight. This wasn't a guy training for a powerlifting meet or anything, maybe doing partial reps. And the guy was like, I have 7 more sets. And he's like sitting for 5 minutes in between. So I think your rest times, like pay attention to your rest times. I mean, that's why it is effective to work with a coach, because we can specifically say, okay, you're training strength, use this amount of time for rest. You're training hypertrophy, use this amount of time for rest. And you should be moving the workout along. If you're in there for 3 hours trying to do a hypertrophy workout, you could probably get that volume in a smaller amount of time and let somebody else use the racks.
Let me interrupt you real quick. How much rest time would you say for compound movements such as squat, bench, deadlift, ollie lifts, and then how much rest time for an isolated movement such as bicep curls, free weights, dumbbells, machines?
Incomplete question.
All right.
What is your training goal?
Technical coordination movement, like a clean and jerk snatch.
Sure.
I would say maybe at least 2 minutes.
But what is your, so say it's a complex movement. What is your training goal? Are you at a 65%? Are you at an 80%?
I think just 2 minutes in general. Absolute strength, like squat, bench, deadlift, at least 3 minutes.
Well, it depends.
It depends. Like if you're like, 3 to 5 minutes, maybe like maybe that guy was like going heavy or whatever. Like he had 7 sets of doubles or triples, right? Like it depends. And then for those isolated, like maybe single joint movements, maybe like 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fair, right?
Yeah. I usually go with 3 to 5 for compound movements. 3 to 5. And that will take into account whether it's like 70%, 80%, 90%. That's why I give that range 3 to 5. And then the isolated movements, I agree, 60 to 90 seconds. I give that range. Sometimes you might need 2 if you're trying to really push volume.
Yeah, so for me, pretty similar. I mean, a lot of the certifications that we go through and organizations like NSCA, NASM, they'll define specific parameters for your training hypertrophy. Your rest time should be this. Your training strength, your rest time should be this. Because I'm working primarily with athletes and we do have a lot of volume to get in. They have a movement section. They have their power exercises, their full strength. For hypertrophy movements, I'm usually going 45 seconds to 90. And not hypertrophy movements, but hypertrophy or muscle growth rep ranges where the weights are not the heaviest in the world, where maybe 65 to 70%. Those are about 45 seconds to 90 seconds rest. And then I usually go minute 30, 2 minutes 30 for strength movements, but they're also not hitting 1 rep maxes. Primarily, we're usually at most, we're going 3s. Sometimes we're going 5s, and we do need to kind of move the workout along, but we also have active recovery in between that. So we are factoring that into the rest as well.
Okay. Next question.
Who got the point?
I'm just gonna
Whatever,
throw
Scott,
it. Eeny, meeny,
Just give it to
eeny,
Scott.
meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his up. If it hollers, let it go. Eric gets the point. Eric got the point.
Eric.
Woo,
Eric,
he's in the game.
the man behind the operations. Yeah.
All right. Next topic. Are you a gym fool or are you gym cool? If you go up to somebody and ask them if they want a spot.
Ooh.
And inversely,
Wait.
If you ask somebody if they want a spot, I'm gonna say gym fool, or it's the biggest power move ever. Did this person do something negative to you prior, and you're trying to get back at them?
for a spot,
You're asking them if they want to.
I think that's very on the line, because if you're like, I think it really depends on your approach. One, do you know this person?
nope.
If this is a completely random person, you are basically saying, you clearly don't look strong enough to do this on your own. Let me help you out. But then on the other side, you don't want people to get hurt. If you do clearly know more than that other person, maybe there's a more strategic way to say that. Like, hey, do you want to spot me on my set and I'll get you back on this one?
Yeah.
I don't know. It could go very wrong very quick depending on that person's personality, especially if you don't know them.
Or like if Scott's benching, right, like 225, and I just walk up to him and she's like, "Is this you?"
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just repping it out.
So what inspired that question was, I remember I went to a commercial gym and I saw a young male adult on an incline bench, and he looked like he struggled in the last set, especially to get that last rep, and then he added weight, and then I was like, oh boy, I should go up there and do something. You know what?
What'd you do?
I don't want to offend him.
Oh, you know what? In
I'm
a
gonna let him
situation
rock.
like that, a way that you can kind of go about that is be like, dude, hype them up a little bit. Like, yo, man, that was a hell of a grind. Good shit over there.
Sandwich.
You're going up. You want to spot the next one?
Sandwich them, yeah.
Sandwich them with a positive, negative, positive. That's what you do. Tell them, give them positive feedback. Then ask them if they want a spot, which might be negative feedback. And then follow up with the positive feedback as, you got this, bro. Go ahead. Let's
All you.
Or if you know it's dangerous, you just say, nah, bro, I need those. And you take the place.
So I ended up not offering.
Did he get
a
it?
spot. No, he choked. He choked. And
He
when I
didn't
mean
try?
he guillotined himself.
You're lying, dude.
It dropped on his neck.
You did.
It did drop on his neck.
That's
You
your
have to-
fault. That's
And
on
then
you.
exactly
That's on
what-
you.
I know. I felt like a
on
gym
you.
fool.
Absolute gym fool.
I know
Yeah.
better than that.
I mean, that guy's the fool for not asking for a spot.
I don't pity
You know what I've done before? I've done that look around, that like sitting on the bench, just looking around.
Trying to make eye contact.
Trying to
with
make eye
with
contact
the
with
biggest
somebody.
bro there.
Yeah, just anybody, really anybody. Because sometimes I'm nervous, Sometimes.
Like, there's usually that one other guy who also knows, okay, this guy doesn't have it. And you're like, okay, we're ready. You get the other side.
Oh
of the bar,
my
I get this side.
gosh.
How do you spot somebody? Let's start with a squat. How do you spot somebody on a squat?
You want to be slightly angled out so that you're not getting in their way when they hip hinge. You want to be close enough that you can help them out. If it's a male, then typically you go arms underneath the armpit and then help lift up. Try not to, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, so that's typically how you spot. You try not to actually help until the very end unless you see downward movement or they ask for help.
Collapsing forward with the chest too much.
Key phrase there, downward movement. Do not take the weight away from them unless you see downward movement, because
Or verbal cues.
verbal cues.
I think it's also important to have a conversation with the person ahead of time and talk to them that when you start to spot them, like, keep trying to push the weight, like, help you up a little bit. You shouldn't be doing a Zercher front squat to get the entire weight up. So if they just start to go downward, you give them that help, have them stand up with the weight as well.
Communication.
Communication is key.
Talk about a side spot.
Talking about side spots. Okay, side spots are useful for when you're deadlifting. Okay, so if you really want to get that weight up and you can't get that weight up, you have one guy stand on each side and help you lift that weight. Then they walk away and you take a picture with the weight that you would have not gotten up otherwise by yourself. You take that picture, you post it all over Instagram, and you call yourself a fitness influencer.
Or
Do we want to
I thought
shape
that's
videos
fired.
of this?
I thought
Edit this into the video somehow.
No, I'm just totally
How can
joking.
we do this?
Side
I
spots.
You
would
just
like
edit
to
it,
hear
yeah.
about side spotting for squatting.
Side spotting for squatting. Okay.
back spotting for deadlifting, you should put the hand behind them, right? Like the
Side spotting for squatting. So if you're going for an egregious amount of weight, I think anywhere, actually an egregious amount of weight, and there are no safeties. Now the safeties are the bars that poke out
Or
at the
straps,
side.
depending on
or
the rack.
straps. Yeah, there are straps. Those are really sturdy.
Or chains on a monolift.
Or chains on a monolift. If none of those are available, you can ask two guys or two females as well. It's up to you. Use your best judgment. I just wouldn't recommend
you're gonna ask the
a
small
120 pound female to spot a 600 pound male squat. I'm being
I
honest.
can't believe I've seen that.
But
before.
We've seen that. We've seen that at powerlifting meets.
powerlifting meets.
We've seen that at powerlifting meets. It's not practical
But
though.
both sides have to be pretty comparable and know what
And
they're doing too. Because
yes,
oftentimes,
they
and
do.
we've seen this at powerlifting meets as well, you'll go down and then we'll see one side come up first as somebody like super compensates
Yeah.
on that
Oh, let's
spot,
be
and then the
honest.
other side doesn't get it fast enough, and that's not good for the lift.
Yeah, let's be honest. There's 120-pound males too that shouldn't be spawning 600-pound, 800-pound squat.
Well,
That's
you're
when
a,
you have multiple people on one side.
That's where you have more.
Jorge, you're a USAPL ref, so I know that there is like a certain amount of weight that you need for amount of spotters, right?
Yes. So anything above 4 or at or above 4 red plates, which is 496 pounds or 225 kilograms, requires 5 spotters. So that is 2 spotters on each side and 1 spotter behind the lifter. Now, the rule in USAPL is the lifter must not abandon the lift. You must go up with the spotters. Do not just drop the bar. Do not just let it fall. Follow the spotters as they will take off a percentage of the lift. And that goes the same for bench. You definitely don't want to abandon the lift and bench because then you end up guillotining yourself and you're going to, the bar lands on your chest or lands on your face or lands anywhere that you don't want it to land. And follow the spotters. Now in deadlifts, USAPL, Neil, you made a good point. There are some federations that have spotters behind the deadlift, the lifter, in case they pass out and fall back. But in USAPL, they like to live life a little bit on the edge, and so there's no spotters. If they pass out, they kind of pass out, and it does happen. It does happen where someone builds up so much pressure in their head from bracing so hard that as they walk away from a deadlift, they actually pass out. I actually had a friend who's lifter, my friend Tom, who's lifter, Jared, finished deadlifting. Yeah, he's awesome. He finished deadlifting, and as Jared is walking away from the deadlift, he passes out. Like he just passes out. And Tom luckily is there to catch him, because if he wasn't there to catch him, he would have almost hit his head on the pair of dumbbells. So if you feel like you might be passing out, if you feel that happening, definitely ask for somebody to stand around you while you're deadlifting. But for the most part, practice safe sets.
So that usually happens, if you notice, after the weight is dropped or if they're just holding their lockout for a long time. So what's usually happening is they're either doing like a Valsalva technique or they're pushing out but not breathing out. They're just creating so much pressure. Their blood pressure is spiking dramatically. Then the second that weight is offloaded, their blood pressure kind of plummets. And when that drops so rapidly, your body's main goal is to survive. It's going to get blood or oxygen to the brain. So it literally says the fastest way to do this is if I just get flat and let gravity pull that there. So it just gives out, you black out, you go to the ground. Usually come to pretty quick, but I thought it was important to note that usually happens after the lift, and that's why.
That makes sense. I've always wondered why it was like after the lift. Last one, guys. Gym cool or gym fool? Taking your shirt off at the gym. Now, this you might think that this is like only a guy thing, but women do this too. People tend to just take their clothes off at the gym to look at themselves in the mirror. Now, are you gym cool or are you gym fool?
Gym cool, man. I'm guilty of doing it myself,
Biased answer. Okay. I like it.
Honestly, you get a good pump going. You're just like, you're admiring yourself in the mirror. A little narcissistic, but you worked hard during that session, I think it's gym cool, but you got to kind of know your surroundings and kind of read the room. You know what I mean? Like if that's not like one of the gym rules, that you can take your shirt off. Like say you're at a, I don't know, LA Fitness or Club Metro, Retro, whatever it is. And then people don't usually take their shirts off at those gyms, but they'll just have like a tank top and that's it. Then yeah, I think but if you're at another private gym and you can do that, sure, why not? If they have good lighting. Yeah.
District.
Oh, I think it also depends what you're training for. One, I do agree 100%. Like, get motivated, look at your progress, look at what you just worked on in that day, and that kind of fires you up and motivates you to eat healthy after that. Come back to the gym for that next workout session. If you're training for something like physique, oftentimes people are using that to look at, okay, what's still lagging? What do I need to focus on? I mean,
Just work on their posing.
probably work on their posing specifically. And I'm sorry, but you don't pose with a baggy t-shirt and like Epic pants, if ever anyone remembers those, the big baggy sweats. I'm dating myself. Anyway.
Big pants. Someone
I'll
clip
show you
that.
later.
Clip them.
But no, everyone here has seen Pumping Iron, and Arnold specifically talks about he would go to the gym and literally wear as little clothing as possible, specifically because he wanted to look at which muscles he still needed to work on, which ones he was already doing well with, and he wanted no stone left unturned. And that's a situation, you want to see what you're working on. But yeah, know the environment. If maybe it's a facility that has a like youth class going on, or maybe a certain demographic population in that might be uncomfortable, just know your setting, and maybe that's a day that you don't take it off and
That's why they have locker
scream in
rooms.
the mirror.
That's why they have
locker rooms with
locker
mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
some people will be like, it's funny you say that about like Arnold now, because now I feel like a lot of bodybuilders will have like a pump cover, which is basically a hoodie or a sweatshirt, which will, cover them. And then, they take it off and just like, I look good.
No, I agree. Yeah, so I guess it just largely depends on time and place more than anything. If you're questioning whether you're a gym fool or a gym cool, ask yourself, is this appropriate? Look around, read the room.
Is it safe?
Is it safe? That's the number one most important thing is it safe? Because there's a lot of ridiculousness out there that gets a lot of traction and gets a lot of fame, and a lot of people want to replicate that ridiculousness. So ask yourself, number one, is it safe? If it is, you're a gym cool area, and then move on from there.
You're trying to take your shirt off to impress your gym crush, and then just a bunch of dudes just like yo, nice physique, bro. Nice delts.
All right. Close this out, Scott.
So I think that's all the time we have. Like Jorge said, again, if you are thinking about gym etiquette, is it safe? Be considerate of others and know your environment. So tune in next week. This has been The Mental Rep.
The mental rap.
Wait, are you gym cool or gym fool?
I'm a gym cool, bro. No matter where I go, I'm gym cool.
Nice.
I am that narcissistic. Peace.
The mental rep.